Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to our cozy little corner of the internet. I'm Pen and today we'll be reading the Dr. Stone one-shot, Don't Need to Worry by Angsty Pimpolia. I hope that's how you pronounce your name. Apparently it's a different language and I had to do some not Google Translate, but I googled how to translate the word. Anyway, here is the summary. The ship project needs to be completed as soon as possible. Everyone was working hard to make this happen, both villagers and modern people working from sunrise to sunset, and the science leader was no exception. In fact, Senku might even be overdoing it a bit. Or, Senku collapses and the one who takes care of him is Gen. Now, I just want to warn you all before we start the story that this author's first language is not English. So just keep that in mind as I correct some stuff to make it sound easier. Make it sound better, and because my brain doesn't like English, even though it's my native language, woo. But anyway, I will be doing some small corrections here and there just to make it sound easier to say. Anyway, hope you guys enjoy, and let's get right into the fic. The ship project needed to be completed as soon as possible. Everyone was working hard to make this happen, both the villagers and the modern people working from sunrise to sunset, and the science leader was no exception. In fact, Senku might have been overdoing it a bit. Gen was the first to notice, skipped meals all day in the laboratory, being the last to sleep and the first to get up. That's if Senku slept. The mentalist began to worry that his leader would fall ill. Gen needed to do something, but the scientist could be stubborn when he wanted to be. Most of the time, Senku was surrounded by people, either giving instructions or just working together. Chrome could also be clingy when he wanted to be, and there would be some times where Gen himself was busy doing some hellish work. In other words, it was 2 whole weeks before the mentalist finally got a chance to talk to Senku. Are you up yet, Senku-chan? The first thing Gen noticed when he woke up was that the scientist wasn't in the cabin. Even Chrome himself was still sleeping, so he went to the place where he knew he would find them, in the laboratory, to the surprise of no one. It had barely dawned and Senku was already in the laboratory writing who knows what on paper. Most of the people were still sleeping apart from a few villagers, Gen and Senku. Good morning, mentalist, and yes, I'm up already. I'm already up, said the scientist without taking his eyes off of his work. Gen sighed. You know, I think you should be a little easy on yourself. Have you been getting enough sleep? Finally, he looks directly at Gen, and the mentalist notices the dark circles under his eyes and the pale face. We don't have time to waste. The project itself requires time, but the sooner we can, the better. We can't let our guard down with a mysterious enemy like the Y-Man. And so, Senku returned to his papers. Did you at least have breakfast? Francois is still preparing for everyone, Senku says with a yawn. But you had dinner last night, right? Silence. In addition to being worried, Gen was also becoming impatient. Senku-chan, if you continue this, you will... Good morning, guys. Are you already working? Chrome greeted behind them. Bad timing, Chrome-chan, was the only thing the mentalist thought. Yes, and I'm glad you're here. Come give me a hand, Senku replied, rubbing his face. Of course. Well, I guess adding 2 more pairs of hands will be better than 1, right? Gen hummed, moving closer to the table. Sure, muttered the scientist. The idea was to finish work as quickly as possible to make Senku get some rest, or at least a decent meal. The mentalist feared that his leader wouldn't last much longer, and he didn't have the best resilience to start with. To make things worse, it was starting to get cold with winter approaching. A simple flu in this stone world could be fatal. Don't worry, Chrome-chan. Wearing hiragana takes time, but you're doing a great job. Gen praised him. Thanks. It's a little complicated, but it's really cool. Just wait until you see katakana and kanji, commented Senku with a provocative tone. He was at the table with his back to Gen and Chrome, who were putting some things on the shelves. It doesn't have to be so bad, Senku-chan. Don't worry again, I can handle it. The scientist said, puffing out his chest. It has been at least an hour since all three of them had been there, and a few more people had already woken up, including Kohaku, who came by to greet them while he went after breakfast. Yes, Chrome, can you grab some charcoal and make some pencils? Mine's running out, Senku asked, the tiredness clearly noticeable in his voice. Sure, he replied, going to the back of the laboratory. Now is a good time to act, thought the mentalist. Senku-chan, let's take a break and eat something. I'm hungry. Gen whimpered, tilting his head back dramatically. They still had their backs to each other. If you want to, go ahead, mentalist. I'm still finishing up here. You need to eat too, and rest. You can clearly tell you're tired. I'm not tired, he murmured. Yes, and my hair is not two different colours, the mentalist replied. This conversation was getting nowhere. If Gen wanted to make the other take care of himself a little, he would need to be more direct. Senku, you can't keep going on like this. Work on a project non-stop will only wear you out. I know this project is important, but so is your health, so you need 8 hours of sleep and 3 meals a day, understand? Silence. Senku-chan? Gen turns back to look at the scientist. It was then when he noticed a few drops of blood on the table. Hey, Senku-chan, are you well? The bi-coloured haired man placed his hands on the other's arm, just in time for him to falter and almost fall. Senku-chan. What's happening? Chrome appears with a basket of coal in his hand. I don't know. Chrome, bring him a chair quickly. That's exactly what the aspiring scientist does. Dropping the basket, he picks up a wooden bench and helps Senku sit. The scientist is paler than before, highlighting the dark circles even more. His nose is bleeding, two tracks going down to his chin, and his breathing is laboured, and the skin is a little cold. The left-hand bands are a little bloody too. Gen curses himself for not noticing sooner. He is holding him from behind as the scientist is lacking strength to hold himself steady. Hey, Senku, can you hear us? Chrome shouted. Stay quiet, Chrome, my head. Senku groaned without opening his eyes and placing a hand on his face. Oh, sorry. Come on, Senku-chan, tell me what you're feeling. After a few seconds of silence and deep breaths, he confessed. I feel dizzy and weak. My whole body hurts. My head feels like it's going to split. Obvious nosebleed and a pause. I feel cold. Gen's mind is racing. He wanted to avoid this outcome, but it seems like he wasn't quick enough. Damn, if he was only a little firmer and more attentive. But now was not a time to brood. Now was not a time to brood. He needed to act, and it was necessary to take care of their leader. We're gonna get you to the cabin. Chrome, help me take him. Senku-chan, can you get up? I can try. Gen wrapped Senku's left arm behind his neck and held him, Chrome doing the same thing to his right side. They lifted him, practically carrying him, the scientist without any strength remaining to stand. The three of them started to walk towards the cabin slowly. I think I've reached my limit, Senku murmurs, almost inaudible. You passed your limit a long time ago. You're almost killing yourself, Gen replied, a wavering smile on his face. A snort was the only response he got. A figure begins to approach him. Yoko. Guys, what happened? Bless Chan's hearing. That's what went through the mentalist's mind, but he just said, Senku-chan feels sick. We're taking him to the cabin. A shocked expression appeared on the archer's face, but it was quickly replaced by a serious one. Come on then, I can examine him. As soon as they got to the cabin stairs, Yoko put him on her back with the help of others and slowly climbed. The archer could feel the scientist panting. His skin was sweating cold, and he was very light, more so than usual. Senku was far from more than usual, as Senku was far from having a robust physique. What are the symptoms? The archer asked again when they were already inside, laying Senku down. Fatigue, dizziness, nosebleeds, headaches, and body aches, as well as not sleeping or eating. That's all. That's what he told me, and what I know. Yokio began to examine him. No sign of fever, at least. That's good. He puts a blanket over him. Senku was lying in his sleeping bag, breathing heavily. His nose was still bleeding, eyes closed, and forehead furrowed, a sign that he was in pain, in addition to the paleness and cold sweat. Once again, Senku never came across as the healthiest person in the world. Jesus, he had the stamina and strength of a flea, but the situation he found himself in was beyond that. It was worrying. Physical exhaustion caused him to collapse. Without eating, drinking, or sleeping enough, his immune system was dropped too low, hence the bleeding. Was the diagnosis Yokio gave after examining him. Chrome, bring water and some fruit. He needs to eat a little for now. Okay, I'm going. And Chrome said as he quickly left. I thought you were smarter than to know your own limits, Senku-chan, the mentalist jokes, but without much humour, concern clear in his tone. Quiet, Gen, the scientist replied, sighing as he added, there's a bottle of acetane. No, acetane, I don't know what that is, but it's some sort of medicine that obviously is in the Dr. Stone world. Okay. It's a painkiller. It's on the first shelf on the left of the laboratory. It's written on the bottle. Okay, I'll get it, the mentalist said as he left. It was easy to find medicine, since it was written as Senku said. He didn't have the knowledge to guess by colour or smell. When he returned, Chrome was also back. Senku drank both the water and the medicine, and ate some fruit. Then he wrapped himself in a blanket, and it didn't take long for him to fall into a deep sleep. The three generals silently left the hut with a mutual agreement that they'll take care of their leader. His mind was still hazy when Senku finally woke up, as if the sleep wasn't enough and his brain was still running at 2 kilometers an hour. Even so, the first thing Senku noticed was how sore he still was, and hungry. Looking around, he saw how he was alone in the cabin and night was falling outside. How long did I sleep? He changed his position to sit, which took all his strength, which wasn't much anymore. When he noticed a two-colored head of hair appearing from the entrance. Oh, I see that Senku-chan's has already woken up. Great, that means I don't have to be cruel and wake you up. Gen smiles and lifts 2 plates of food in his hand. How long did I sleep? The scientist rubbed his face, trying to clear his mind. Even after sleeping, the tiredness still hadn't left his body. It seemed that even formulating a simple sentence required a colossal amount of effort. Well, I would say about 12 hours. How are you feeling? Hungry? I imagine. Gen hands Senku a plate as he sits down with his own meal. The smell of the beef stew was irresistible and the flavour was wonderful. Or maybe that was just his stomach. Or maybe it was just his stomach that hasn't eaten anything in a long time. All that food was a blessing for his weakened body. They both ate their meals in comfortable silence, only the sound of chewing filling the room. After finishing, Senku let out a long sigh. His body was grateful for the food, but he still felt lethargic. His mind working at minimum speed. Going back to sleep felt very inviting, his eyelids heavy. A voice brought him out of his thoughts. Feeling better, Senku-chan? Gen asked while collecting the dishes. Senku's body still ached with the weakness in his bones, but rest and food had already alleviated some of his problems. I would say yes, was all he replied. You gave us quite a scare, huh? I'm very sorry, Senku muttered. He knew that falling sick after working so hard was the opposite of being productive, but his anxious mind wouldn't allow it. Senku needed to finish the ship. He needed to go out and investigate the petrification. The world was counting on him. His father counted on him. So he couldn't rest or eat without thinking of that he was wasting precious time, and that he had left aside his physical needs again and again, until his body couldn't take it anymore, and now he was being a burden to everyone, just getting in the way. Probably. Everyone was disappointed in him, seeing their leader in that state. They would discard him soon, and you don't have to apologize. A voice cut through the spiral of thoughts that passed through Senku. We burden you too much, Senku-chan. You are our leader. We count on you, but you're also a human being. You deserve a break. But like you said, you're counting on me. The scientist clutched his fist. I can't disappoint them. It was as if the last piece of the puzzle fell into place. Gen could understand now what led to the other going so far. He already had an idea of what it could be, but it was difficult to know what was going through the indifferent Senku's mind. Then, hearing those words, everything fell into place. He overcharged himself. It's because of your father, isn't it? The scientist's breathing failure was all the confirmation he needed. Your father trusts you. The trust your father has in you is admirable. He knew what you're capable of, and so did we. But remember, we can help you too. The weight of your world doesn't have to rest on your shoulders. Hearing those words made Senku's heart weigh a little less. You don't have to be. Then don't demand yourself so much. If we deserve a break, you deserve a break too. And Senku looked at Senku. His expression was one of pure empathy. He knew what was happening and wanted to help. He wanted to help his friend. The way they met was not the best. Gen was a member of the Tsukasa Empire, sent to confirm whether Senku was dead or not. One word from him, and Tsukasa would have gone after the scientist to finish his work. But even so, he chose the Kingdom of Science. And Gen did not regret that choice. Ishigami Village is a gift your father left to help you. Besides, all the depetrified are on your side. And me too. The last part didn't need to be said out loud. The last part he didn't say out loud, but he didn't think he needed it, seeing the expression on the scientist's face. Senku didn't know how to feel. He was, to say the least, shocked to hear that. How could he forget everyone's hard work? But he also felt relieved. Having someone else say the words out loud to him was like a dose of reality, and Gen was one who spoke them. Someone who wouldn't comfort another person easily, and Senku saw the honesty in him. You're right, the scientist exhaled, his body visibly relaxing. Thank you, Gen, for everything. I'm always available. Gen felt accomplished in his mission. He hoped to make it clear that how much everyone cared about Senku, and that the scientist had gotten the message. Well, I think it's time for me to go back, and you, Senku, still need some rest. You look like shit. You don't need to say the obvious. A yawn escaped the scientist. His heart may be calmer, but he still felt very, very weak. Maybe it's okay for him to take a few days off. So go to sleep, and don't worry about the others. I'll let everyone know that you're doing better. Everyone was worried when they found out you were unwell. The mentalist stood up and pushed Senku into a lying position and covered him up with a blanket. Sorry for the scare. sleep was already taking over Senku's mind as he said that. Once again, you don't need to apologize. Gen turns to leave. The dark, starry night was beautiful. A gentle breeze made the weather pleasant. He could hear the rustling of the leaves and some crickets chirping. Before going down the stairs, Gen said something else. Good night, Senku-chan. Good night. And then Gen leaves to meet with the other inhabitants. And Senku, he allows himself to fall into a deep sleep, a well-deserved rest. Okay, everyone, that was... Hang on, getting the title again. Scroll up. That was Don't Need to Worry by Phil... I forgot how I said that already. Pimolia? Whatever I said at the start of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed that. This will be the only video I'm putting out today. I'm not feeling the best, so... Yeah, sorry about that, but I will be looking for more fics tonight. And I'll hopefully get some approvals. And seeming as you guys sort of like the Dr. Stone stuff, I'm going to see if I can find some Dr. Stone fics. Because it's almost my hyperfixation. Like, it's switched between Bungo Stray Dogs and Dr. Stone right now. Just like teetering on the edge. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. It was a fun fic. And I'm sorry if I stuttered a bit, but I tried to enhance the story a little bit. The author did an amazing job on this though, so for English not being their first language, it was absolutely amazing. So I say go and support them on AO3. I'll leave the link down below in the description. And anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure to take care of yourself, and I'll see you later. Bye.